bhavatu Sahanau Bhudaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May the Divine Being look over us lovingly as a mother and father. May the Divine Being support and nourish us as a mother and father. May we have the strength and skill to study together the art of spirituality. May no misunderstandings arise amongst us. Om, peace, peace. Peace and beneficence be unto us and to every beloved being everywhere. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Namaste, and welcome to our continuation of reading and discussion of Sri Sarada Devi, her divine play, Swami Chaitanananda's very, very comprehensive book on the life of Sri Sarada Devi, the Holy Mother. Hi, Madidi, where are we?
We are on page 694.
Uh-huh.
I will start at a woman devotee said that would be a good point to start, Brother Shankara. Just to go back one paragraph backwards.
As pleases yourself, dear.
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, everyone, and namaste. A woman devotee said, "Mother, I have no peace of mind. I am fully consumed by domestic problems and sufferings. When I come here, I get a little peace talking to you." Seeing her tears, the mother said, "You are forgetting, my child, that everything is happening by the will of the Master. It is by his will. It is by his will that you have come to me. Love God and teach your children also to love him. Let them learn to love God, knowing he is their own. When a jiva comes to the world, that person comes with his or her past karma. So we see that some people love God from their early years. Some grow up and then go astray. Everything happens as a result of one's past karma. But out of grace, God changes one's destiny. He changes what he had ordained for that person, and that is why he is called Kapal Motion, the dispeller of destiny. As everything is in his hands, so one should surrender oneself to him. One day,
this is probably as potent an instruction. We've had many, many instructions from the mother in this book. This is probably as potent as any of them. The fact that everything is happening by the will of God, and she personalizes it as the Master. But of course, he is, if we are to believe what she believed and what she knew, and what was said about him by such as Vivekananda and Brahmananda and others, that he is the Master of the universe. He who was Rama, he who was Krishna, is present here, pointing to his body, as Ramakrishna, who was Rama, who was Krishna, Vishnu, the sustainer and protector of the universe. So we're told, surrender to him, have faith in him, and your destiny is changed. This is why he is called breaker of this world's chain, breaker of the chain of karma. How great was thy sacrifice, Vivekananda wrote of him. How great was thy sacrifice, freely choosing thy birth in this prison, our iron age, to unchain us and set us free. Unchain us from our karma and set us free. And Mother says, accept his invitation, and he will be your dispeller of destiny. But to do this, you must surrender your idea that you are the doer and you are the one in charge here. Every one of the scriptures, from the deepest bhakti scripture to the most advanced Advaita scripture, says the same thing. You must surrender the idea that you are an individual, separate human being. Any comments or from your own wisdom or experience, or any thing that you'd like to express as a concern or a question? Good. Okay. Well, then let's read on, dear.
One day, while sitting on the northern veranda of Udbodhan House, Holy Mother and Sudhira were talking about a person of the Nivedita school. The mother said, people do not scrutinize their own minds. They only see others' faults. If they see their own faults and try to rectify them, then the tendency of seeing faults in others will not rise. Mahamaya created this tendency in the human mind. People magnify their own qualities. They make their molehills into mountains and others' mountains into molehills. They are thoroughly occupied with their own so-called greatness and have no time to think of others.
Hold on just one moment.
Sure.
Mother is saying this in the kindest possible words. Swami Vivekananda says, only a fool swallows his own spit. Only a fool swallows his own spit. That is to say, believes what he says about himself and his upadhis, these descriptions of yourself, and this greatness and this and that and the other thing about yourself that the mother has been mentioning. So I just wanted to add that to the conversation because Vivekananda adds a little salt to mother's sugar. It's pretty memorable what he said. Only a fool swallows his own spit, believes what he says about himself or herself. Again, any comments or questions about this?
I think Jesus also said, why are you focusing on the mole in brother's eye while ignoring a log in your own eye? He
Mote,
said that.
yes, the mote.
Mote in a brother's eye.
Well,
exactly.
A speck of dust, a mote.
Exactly.
Why are you focusing? Exactly.
It's so similar
While ignoring the log in your own eye. And then he gave all of his instructions about how to behave.
Exactly.
And we see how much that I love those memes that sometimes come on the internet that say Jesus looking down at the earth or standing and talking to somebody and say, "Did you think I was kidding?" Oh, my goodness. All right, dears. Anything else from anyone? All right, please, Hamadidi, read on.
Okay. If one remembers that everyone belongs to the master, then one cannot help but love all. Once I was in such a condition that I could not remove the ants from the master's naivedya. I felt as if the master were eating through the ants. One relishes gossip and criticism when one does not see the master in all. As long as one does not try to make spiritual progress oneself, one's mind will be constantly agitated with the others' affairs.
As
So
Mother said elsewhere, it is the natural tendency of the mind to go downward. And as she just said earlier, Mahamaya created this tendency. It's so that we'll stay and play the game. You know, when the divine endowed us with profuse quantities, her mother's words, profuse quantities of materialism and vanity, then the game could go on with a swing. There's more goodness. But along with the goodness is our profuse quantities of this dark side, the potential for the dark side, tamas and rajas.
Mahamaya created Brother Shankara, and we get pulled into that most often.
Yes.
Often.
Yes.
So easy to get pulled into that negative cycle.
I can't remember which of the master's direct disciples. Oh, I think it was Vijnanananda said we get drawn to it like flies to flypaper, and then we get stuck.
It. Yes.
Yeah, it was Vijnanananda. All right, dears. Anything else from anyone? All right, please read on, dear.
Okay. A lady came to Udbodhan house and informed the mother that some of her relatives were passing through a difficult time. She asked, Mother, doesn't the master see the sufferings of these people? Why does he not prevent them? Holy Mother replied, does anything happen without the will of God? Even a leaf on a tree does not move without his wish. According to his will, this universe and all beings are functioning. Can a material object function if there is no consciousness behind it? The woman asked, is God fully aware of these sufferings? When a person does anything wrong, does he or she always remember it? Holy Mother responded, God made the law. Each action has its own effect. He is conducting this world with this law. Then how can human beings escape from the grinding results of their terrible actions? Is there no forgiveness in God regarding this law of karma? Holy Mother replied, is it possible for you to survive without his forgiveness?
Is it possible for you to survive without his forgiveness? What a potent question. Yes, if we had to suffer the effects, full effects of all of our terrible deeds, we'd explode like a grapefruit put in a vacuum. So, anything else from anyone about this very pregnant remark of the mother's? All right, hi Madini.
Can you see the karma of your innumerable past lives? If so, you would not ask this question. Even Arjuna did not know the karma of his past lives. What to speak of ordinary human beings? He who has made the law can change it also. Moreover, God has given human beings the tendency towards good karma, and good karma reduces the impact of bad karma. He gave human beings the freedom to perform good and bad actions. That is the reason his Leela is continuing. Although he has given us a little freedom, the main key is in his hand. Both good and bad are in front of you. You select. This is the way he plays. The play cannot continue if someone does only good or only bad. In a game of hide and seek, the running about soon stops if in the beginning all the players touch the granny. Her pleasure is in continuing the game. There are many methods mentioned to counteract the results of bad karma in the scriptures, such as rituals for peace, shanti, swachana, sacrifice, which is yajna, charity, dana, austerity, tapasya, and so on. It is God who prescribes these methods. Can I read this one more time, Brother Shankara?
Let me just, for there
Please.
may be people who haven't heard this story as told by the mother. I haven't seen it in this book, but it is in the book Mother and Her Companions, or Mother and Her Disciples. One of Mother's disciples asked her, Ma, why is the universe the way it is? Why are human beings the way they are, performing these good and bad actions? And here was Mother's answer, as close as I can. This is, if not an exact quote, a very close paraphrase. She said, Mother, Holy Mother said, well, my child, let me tell you a story. When God first made the universe, He endowed human beings only with goodness. And they soon saw that what had happened was they were prisoners in this universe of limitation. They saw through because of the truth of their being, the complete goodness of their being, they saw through the play. And so, with sincerity, they said, oh, please, let us not play this game of limitation. Release us. And because what they said was true, and they were completely sincere, they had to be released. Notice this. It is up to us to be like that. I mean, Mother didn't say this, I'm interpolating this, that this is really the moral of the story. If we take that attitude sincerely and out of even the knowledge that we gain through Shravana and Manana, then we can ask sincerely to be released, and then the game changes. But here's what Mother said next. So the universe collapsed when all of the beings didn't want to play the game. So he said to himself, now of course she's speaking of her mind-born son, Brahma. Brahma said to himself, this is not how to make them play the game. So the second time he manifested the universe, he endowed human beings not only with goodness, but with profuse quantities of materialism and vanity. Not just sattva, the revealing power, but tamas, the concealing power, and rajas, the projecting power. So when the second time he manifested the universe, he endowed human beings not only with goodness, but with profuse quantities of materialism and vanity. And then the game could go on with a swing. Those are Mother's words. This is what she's talking about in this last paragraph. So yes, having said all that, first, is there any comment or question from anyone or concern?
Brother Shankara,
Yes, Swayam.
earlier when Haimadi was reading, I think I heard that Mother saying that good karmas will wash out the bad karmas. This sometimes it seems contradictory to what sometimes is said, that you have to reap the benefits of the good karma and pay for the bad karma. There's no canceling out. Could you clarify that a little bit? Like how, other than by prayer, Mother can, reduce the effects of the karma. We heard that through that if you are to lose a limb, you'll get a scratch.
Yes, yes, that's exactly it. The I've forgotten the Sanskrit term. Heimer read it earlier, but it means dispeller of destiny. Sri Ramakrishna came to unchain us and set us free. If we accept his invitation or the invitation of any of the avatars, they all make the same invitation. He who drinks from my mouth shall not taste death, said Christ. Come to me, all ye who are weary and heavy laden, and I shall give you rest. How will he give you rest? By freeing you from your karma. My yoke is easy. My burden is light. In other words, he can free you. So it isn't just Krishna, it isn't just Rama, it isn't just Ramakrishna that said this. Christ also said it. So the avatars and their saints, because the saints become the avatar. That is to say, their very body becomes the body of the avatar. They so identify with them. And you've read that in the love poems of the saints. Rabia, right away, the first poet quoted, Rabia says, he became me. So, yes, if we continue without accepting the invitation of the avatars and doing what they say to do, which is never complicated, my yoke is easy, my burden is light. It's always relatively simple. It's not easy to do in practice because of all of our past samskaras, our karmas. But if we, Holy Mother, if you want to hear about this in some detail, Swayam, go back and listen to one of the times that the talk has been given on Chaitanya's prayer. Just you will find it in the archives. I don't know that there's one on the YouTube channel. I don't know if I've given that talk, but I go into some detail about what the various holy ones have said about this dispelling of destiny. And this, if you were going to lose a leg, you will receive a scratch. Does that get it?
Yes, Brother Shankara, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything? That was a very good question to ask at this point, because Mother is saying that you will experience your karmas if the Master doesn't intervene, and it's all in his power. And the game goes on because there is this ability to choose good actions and bad actions. There is this, there are these profuse quantities of materialism and vanity that make us attracted to lower choices. Anything else? Okay, read from where you think is appropriate, Hamadini.
Yes, Brother Shankara. That word of dispeller of destiny is Kapal Mochan. Kapal
Okay,
Mochan, that was the one.
Thank you.
Here it is. The woman asked, is God fully aware of these sufferings? When a person does anything wrong, does he or she always remember it? Holy Mother responded, God made the law. Each action has its own effect. He is conducting this world with this law. Then how can human beings escape from the grinding results of these terrible actions? Is there no forgiveness in God regarding this law of karma? Holy Mother replied, is it possible for you to survive without his forgiveness? Can you see the karma of your innumerable past lives? If so, you would not ask this question. Even Arjuna did not know the karma of his past lives. What to speak of ordinary human beings? He who has made the law can change it also. Moreover, God has given human beings the tendency towards good karma, and good karma reduces the impact of bad karma. He gave human beings the freedom to perform good and bad actions. That is the reason his Leela is continuing. Although he has given us a little freedom, the main key is in his hand. Both good and bad are in front of you. You select. This is the way he plays. The play cannot continue if someone does only good or only bad. In a game of hide and seek, the running about soon stops if in the beginning all the players touch the granny. Her pleasure is in continuing the game. There are many methods mentioned to counteract the results of bad karma in the scriptures, such as rituals for peace, Shanti, Swatyana, sacrifice, Yajna, charity, which is Dana, austerity, which is Tapasya, and so on. It is God who prescribes these methods. Many people perform those rituals, but we do not always see the results, the woman commented. Holy Mother replied, if a ritual is performed correctly, the result is bound to come. It takes time to yield the results of one's actions. One cannot get a ripe mango as soon as the blossom appears on the tree.
How simple her mother's metaphors are.
Oh, exactly.
One cannot get a ripe mango as soon as the blossom appears on the tree. Things happen in their own good time. And this, again, is something that Sri Ramakrishna is absolutely emphatic about. I mean, you talk about triple underlining something. He says everything happens at exactly the right time, which is why it's fruitless for us to be impatient. We can implore, we can pray, we can ask for mercy. And as the mother says, the master, the divinity, the living presence can change the law. But if you believe Sri Ramakrishna, your imploring, your prayer, your yearning that expresses itself this way happens at exactly the right time. The master's or the avatar's or the incarnation's response happens at exactly the right time. Now, is there any way for us to understand this intellectually? Absolutely not. The left mind simply cannot, which is where we understand things from an intellectual or cognitive point of view. It absolutely is incapable of understanding the actions of that which is born of the absolute, eternal, changeless Brahman or Atman. The avatar is born of this, and so has all the power. Krishna describes it in eloquent detail, how he is the master of Maya, and how, yes, his Maya is hard to penetrate, but you can do it if you're persistent. Anything else from anyone?
Brother Shankara, don't we need reverence and humility when we are trying to get rid of bad karma to move towards good karma?
That's optimal, reverence and humility. But Sri Ramakrishna says, you may even be a tamasic devotee. You may even be a demanding child. Mother, give me a penny for my kite. Give me a penny for my kite. No, go away. I'm talking to my friends. Child comes back. Mother, give me a penny for my kite. Give me all my friends are playing with their kites. I want a kite. No, your father has told me not to give you any money. The child goes away and then comes back. Ma, give me a penny for the kite. All my friends are playing. I want a kite. I want a kite. I want a kite. Oh, all right, she says, and leaves her friends, leaves her actions of creating, sustaining, and for that moment, and turns the key in the cash box with a click. And this is a story told by Sri Ramakrishna. Every word is meaningful. A click. You can hear it. You can feel it when mother responds to your plea. So then she gets a penny from the cash box and tosses it to the child. So Sri Ramakrishna says, yes, you may even be a tamasic devotee, a petulant, demanding, is, of course, is more auspicious in the long run if one has the attitude of humility. Why? Because you will have peace of mind. If you have humility and reverence, you will have peace of mind. You will be happier. You won't be so unhappy. You will have a contentment, santosha. You will have titiksha, forbearance, because you're not impatient. You have reverence and humility. So you're absolutely right, Haimadidi, that is optimal. But Sri Ramakrishna says it's not mandatory. And in the Gita, Sri Krishna describes different kinds of devotees, 4 different kinds, all of them noble souls. He says, noble souls means they're seeking the right thing. They're just seeking it in their various ways. Thank you, Haima, for bringing that up. Is there anything else from anyone? All right, dear.
Okay. If Holy Mother replied, if a ritual is performed correctly, the result is bound to come. It takes time to yield the results of one's actions. One cannot get a ripe mango as soon as the blossom appears on the tree. It takes time for the bloom to develop as a mango. Does the chariot descend from heaven the moment you have finished a sacrifice? Let me tell you one thing. If you want to escape the results of good and bad karma, then chant God's name. Repeat your mantra, worship the Lord, and read the scriptures.
This is exactly it. Read that again, please. This is Mother's. If you want to escape, here's how. And it's simple. It's not easy, but it is simple. Just read what she says.
Sure. Let me tell you one thing. If you want to escape the results of good and bad karma, then chant God's name, repeat your mantra, worship the Lord, and read the scriptures.
Bingo,
Always.
bingo, bingo, bingo.
Yes.
You know, I mean, this is the same thing that Chaitanya said, the exact same thing Chaitanya said. Chant the name of the Lord and his glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean. Wiped clean of what? These karmas, these samskaras. Chant the name of the Lord and his glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quenched that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O Hari, he addresses the Lord, of course, Chaitanya does as Hari. O Hari, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart. Why moonlight? Because we couldn't, our bodies, particularly in the beginning, our nervous system, our chitta, could not endure the full blast of the sun. This is why we have this blessed moonlight. O Hari, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, chanting his name continually, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name, that bath for weary souls. Bathing in his name, how beautiful this thought is. Bathing in his name, washing away these karmas. Anything else from anyone? Okay, read Mother's instruction one more time, please.
Sure. Let me tell you one thing. If you want to escape the results of good and bad karma, then chant God's name, repeat your mantra, worship the Lord, and read the scriptures. Always discriminate between the real and the unreal. Good karma subdues bad karma, but cannot destroy it. The good and bad karmas of an individual soul are destroyed only by chanting God's name, which also purifies the mind. Then one can know one's true nature.
And this is why I say, if you want to know the details of what, not only what she says, but what the master says, Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, Brahmananda, and others from other lineages, other traditions, go to that talk on Chaitanya's prayer. And some effort was made to assemble why Chaitanya could make such a stupendous promise as the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quenched that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. This is quite a pair of promises. So why could he say that? So I assembled, I didn't write any of this, I just assembled it. But it is pretty darn persuasive when you tie it all together that way. It's persuasive enough as we're reading it here. Then one may know one's true nature when the mirror of the heart is wiped clean and this mighty forest fire of outward reaching worldly lust is quenched. Then your true nature appears in all its glory, as Swami Sri Dharma said. And then you see even the frame of the mirror. That is to say, the body itself, this chariot in which we're riding. You see even that is inestimably beautiful.
Brother Shankara, I have a question.
Yes, Sham.
How does chanting God's name remove the bad karmas?
All right, here is the technical explanation. You've just heard what Mother said, that it does it. Here's the technical explanation. In every one of God's names and all of the bijas associated with God's name, as Sri Chaitanya says in his prayer, the power, his power, the power of the divine being resides. What is that power? That power, it manifests itself as everything in universe, everything that we can know or understand in any way is in the form of vibration. This is physics as well. If you don't believe the sage Vashishta when he tells that to Rama, that everything is nothing more, everything that you can experience in any way is nothing more than a vibration of consciousness, then you can read what the physicists say, that this universe is nothing but fields of vibration. All right, when you chant the name of the Lord, which is a vibration, Om Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram, Om Ram Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram, Om Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram. You can hear the vibration. Jai Shri Durga, Jai Shri Durga, Jai Shri Durga. Great vibration, great vibration. It changes the very nature of your body. It changes every cell in your body. This is what Sri Chaitanya is pointing to when he says that the mirror of the heart is wiped clean and quenched that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within with all of its bad karmas. Quenched, quenched. It neutralizes it. It neutralizes those negative vibrations of materialism and vanity. The power of God's name, and this is not just in this lineage or tradition, it is throughout the scriptures of every. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Christ was the Word, the vibration of divinity made flesh. So this is how it happened, Sham. Is that a satisfactory answer?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Now just think, why are we chanting Jai Shri Durga? Is it for Durga's sake? For God's sake, no. Durga doesn't need anything from us. It is for your sake and for the world's sake. Swami Swahananda was very emphatic about this. We're chanting Jai Shri Durga to transform ourselves and make a real difference, Swami Swahananda said, in the world. It's subtle. And as the mother said, these things don't manifest right away. First there's the blossom, then the mango, then the ripe mango. But don't think that what these great ones like Swahananda said, that what they're saying is just a way to encourage you. No, no, no. I can tell you because I was in his presence when he said it more than once. I mean, we've been doing this for decades in Southern California. I think Swami Swahananda, if I'm not misremembering, I think he started in the early 1990s. So we've been doing it in Southern California and the other centers for which Swahananda was responsible for decades. And he said more than once that this chanting of Jai Shri Durga is very powerful indeed and is transformative not only of you in the time that you're doing it and the time after. The effect lasts because you are fundamentally, if very subtly, transformed, but that it also has a tremendous benefit in the world. Each grand Durga Puja has a tremendous benefit. And if you want to know more about that, just talk to the priests of any Hindu temple. Talk to Aditya Chaturvedi. What is it that this grand Durga Puja? By the way, Aditya Chaturvedi will do the Durga Puja from his home on October 1st. We will have that as a Zoom link in our newsletter and on the website and in the Facebook, so you can participate in that. Then on October the 8th, the following Saturday, Aditya will do that Durga Puja again in our chapel here. Now, there's no in-person attendance. There's still too much danger of this. Omicron subvariant. I mean, it is very aggressive and it knows how to evade the immune system. So we're being very cautious. But you can't, of course, you just use the Sunday and special events link for that Saturday, October the 8th, and you'll be able to join in on that performance of the Durga Puja as well. And Swami Swahananda said it's very auspicious to attend a Durga Puja. So,
Brother Shankara,
yes, dear.
first of all, I hope I didn't interrupt what you were talking to Sham.
No, I was finished.
Okay. I'm reading Srimad Bhagavatam, the translation by Swami Prabhavananda.
Oh, wonderful.
Coincidentally, I'm at the point where they're telling the story of that Brahmin named Ajamila.
Yes.
The
Tell
whole
us the story.
I'm sorry?
Tell us the story.
Yes. It's about 2 pages long, but I'll try to condense it. So basically, this Ajamila is a very pious Brahmin, and he's done a lot of good deeds in his early years. But one time he goes to the forest and sees this woman, and he kind of is overcome by desire. And then he leaves his legitimate, the wife that he had married, and then marries this other woman and becomes dishonest. His karmas then take on a different turn. So at the time, he becomes very weak, and he sees the attendants of death approach him, and he gets very terrified and calls out the name of Narayana, who's his first son. But when he actually utters the name Narayana, he is thinking of the lotus feet of Lord Narayana. So immediately he sees the attendants of Narayana coming there, and the attendants of death are trying to convince the attendants of Vishnu that we have to take him because he has done and he has to pay for his karma and all that. But Vishnu's attendants convince him that everything he has done, all the bad sins, have been atoned for because he reverently uttered the name of Lord Narayana. So
Only once, notice, but
once.
with great sincerity and feeling.
Correct. So then, so obviously the death attendants leave, and then he gains his health back and becomes a person who does good karma again. And then when he time comes for him to leave the body, then Vishnu's attendants come and take him. So that's sort of the gist of the story. And as we were discussing, I was thinking that the purpose of chanting and japa is to get us to the point where when we utter a name of Durga, we will see the lotus feet of Goddess Durga, and not vice versa. In other words, when we are saying the word Durga, we are not thinking of a human named Durga who may have some things that we don't like, but we are seeing Durga in the human and not the human in Durga, if it makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. And the effects are much more far-reaching and pervasive than what you just said, but are very nicely metaphorically told in that story. And Sri Ramakrishna said more than once, he said, utter the name of Rama just once with great reverence, and you have nothing to fear. Because why? Because it attracts this and helps you accept the invitation of the divine to move away from your lower, your downward tendencies, and it goes, something happens to you. And so then you will begin to pursue a spiritual path. Practice just a little, Sri Ramakrishna said, and someone will come forward to help you. And Sri Krishna at the end of chapter 2 in the Gita says, of karma yoga. Karma yoga is this way of living sacramentally, of offering everything to the divine. He says, practice this karma, practice this yoga just a little practice of this yoga will free you from the wheel of rebirth and death, which means you are freed from your karmas. It is your karmas that drag you back. This is what why the attendants of death are there, to get him, so that he has to be reborn in a lower circumstance and pay for this yielding to temptation that this Brahman has done. But because he uttered the name Narayana with great feeling just once, and he was thinking of Lord Narayana, not his son, then the attendants of Vishnu rush to his rescue. Beautiful story. Anything else from anyone? Hey, dear.
In the
Yeah.
olden times, in India, most children were named after some god's name. But that trend is changing. Now it's all about, what's the top trending name in 2022 or something like that.
Well, this is India is going through what Vivekananda described as a very necessary period of transformation, where they regain their self-respect. By what? Regaining their prosperity. And of course, this has its downside as well as its upside. But first, he said, first bread, then football, then the Gita. So these people who have been conquered twice, first by the Mughals, then by the British, subjugated for centuries. Vivekananda said, they have to throw this off. And of course, the counter reaction is going to be excessive in the beginning. But this is part of the end of the Kali Yuga. And, they will then learn how to play the game of life successfully. The majority of human beings in India will, in a century or so, learn this. And they will become very powerful indeed. Vivekananda said, when all this is sorted out, the star of the West, particularly the United States, will have fallen. And the two most powerful nations will be India and China. And we see it developing. India's capacity for intellectual achievement is, it's just amazing. And it's because of this tendency to do practices that yield concentration. So there'll be this period of excess and seemingly forgetting the spiritual heritage of India. But Vivekananda said, no, it will come back. It will reassert itself. It has again and again over thousands of years, 8,000 to 10,000 years at least, probably more like 25,000.
Namaste, Brother Shankara.
Yes, namaste.
So I just would like to share something. I think Swayamji was talking about the story and the attendants of death come and take over. And I just wanted to share a true experience. My father actually came across a couple of weeks back, and this is from his own personal experience. And what he told me is that there was there was a person whom I know, and he knows from our distant relative kind of. And what he said is that he one day when he was meditating, so he practices and he's been practicing for a very long time. So he had this experience that when he was meditating, that this person was being taken away by the attendants of death, being pulled over, and then they were chopping him off, um, and so within few days, this person had health issues and he died actually, and so now talking about this person, little bit attached, average person, I wouldn't say very spiritual, not at all spiritual, definitely, but very attached to money and land. But nothing significantly wrong, I believe he did in his life. But there was no spirituality, no devotion, uh, materialistic life, but just being a family man. And so I was shocked, and he said, so we went. He went and did all the rituals and everything, because when a person is taken away like that, it's not a good sign.
Mhm.
So I'm just sharing this because what Swamiji said, all these stories we hear about this attendance of death coming and all, this is true. I mean, it is first-hand experience. When he told me this, I was shocked. I mean, like I jumped in my place. Like, if this really happens, like when they pull you over, if you do not practice, if you are not, spiritual, or however you would define it, being a morally correct person, that's what is awaiting for you at the end. It's not nice. It's not good.
This is why so many people fear death.
Exactly.
Hmm? Some folks are afraid to die. Maybe this is why. They never heard these loving words as they were sighed for them. Sure, it's hard and mean, a heart attack machine, but it can't scare you if you're sticking to the Atman, believing in the Atman, seeking for the Atman. No, it can't scare you if you're seeking for the Atman, and you will never die. The attendants of death will be helpless in your presence.
Well, I think in that case, so he specifically told me that these were ferocious looking attendants, and from my own experience or understanding, what I would say is that when we practice, there are people, there are attendants who come, but they are benign. They are much milder, and they are auspicious kind of, or helping nature with warmth and with love, and
Yes.
that's what happens. But I'm not aiming for that. I'm aiming for Thakur to come over and take me, and that's what I
Well,
would practice going forward, and that's what I think our tradition teaches you. And Sri Ramakrishna also, I think he promised that he will have
yes, yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
he told his direct disciples, and over there, I don't know what will happen to us, but he
No,
said
no,
that
no,
he
no.
will.
The
Yeah.
Swamis will tell you if you ask them, Shailesh. The Swamis will tell you. If you have taken refuge at the Master's feet, and Mother has said it in this very book we're reading, if you take refuge at the Master's feet, at the time of departure from the body, he will come.
Yeah.
And Holy Mother saw this more than once. Others saw it too. Latu Maharaj saw it.
And I have read this so many times, and if you read God lived with them, or they lived with God, and all these books,
Yes.
we see these events at the end. They saw this and that, and then Thakur came and took over, and we saw this in the book. But this is the first time uh, someone so close to me, my father, who has been practicing his spiritual devotions and everything very devoutly for 40 years now, or 50 years almost, and he had this vision, and this has exactly happened. And he said, well, in few days this person was gone. And now and I think it's in a way that I don't know why he shared this with me, and he has a lot of experiences actually come his way, but very rarely will share it with me. But I think what I take it from here is that this is what the reason we have to learn from this, that the reason why I told, I would say, is that I was exposed to this, or rather I'm sharing this with you, is that this is all true. And if you want to end this journey, well, then, we need to do what we need to do, and we know what we need to do.
Yes, indeed. And your father will no doubt, as you said, he did some rituals already. He will no doubt pray for this man. He will
Yeah, that's what he did actually. And what, and I want to tell you the second part also was that when this person, he got admitted into hospital, my father actually went. Actually, his distant cousin, actually. My father is older to him. Younger man, actually, was 62, 63 only. So my father went and told him that, look, this is all Maya. You have to give up. And actually, this person actually troubled us, my father, actually, for last 2 years for some land dispute, actually. But my father forgave everything. And he went and told him that this is what you do. You just give up and everything. But what he saw happen eventually. But later on, I told him that when he told me all this, I said, look, make sure that you do all the rituals very well, and I will pray, you pray, and tell his family to pray so that he gets. And so that's what he did. And at the end, he said he had a vision that his face, he appeared to be very, very happy, very very calm and satisfied. And then he left. So that's his second experience. So I just wanted to share that. So the rituals also play an important role, I believe.
Oh, no question. And every prayer, Swami Prabhavananda was so emphatic about the power of our loving prayers. We are not separate. There is one being, one existence, and we are connected. And this loving relationship with another person, like you say, your father forgave him for his troublesome nature, and so on. I mean, there are so many the wonderful stories in the world's literature. One of the most powerful is that story by Charles Dickens called A Christmas Carol. That's how it was published. It's the story of Ebenezer Scrooge. And the fact that Ebenezer Scrooge, though he had no friends in the world to call his own, he had one friend, Jacob Marley. And Jacob Marley becomes righteous at the end of his life, repents. And so he's given the boon of coming back and rescuing Scrooge. And it is such a beautiful story. There was a black and white film made in 1951 called Scrooge, starring an actor called Alistair Sim. And if you've never watched it, I cannot recommend it highly enough, particularly you watch it at Christmas time. It is such a beautiful film about the redemption through love, through the love of his former partner and the one friend he ever had. But Scrooge was no friend to Marley. Marley was his friend. Oh, anyway, I won't go on about it. But thank you very much for sharing those stories, Shailesh. So directly related. So we'll leave it at that.
Brother Shankara,
Yes, dear.
just real quick, thanks to Shailesh for sharing that wonderful story. Um, I like to think of the message of these stories more in a positive way. So rather than be afraid that, oh, we have to do this because these things, the attendance of death will come, and we can think that no matter what, if we continue to practice remembering God, no, we don't need to fear that. And secondly, not everybody may have the opportunity or circumstances where somebody can do rituals for them. So this collective prayer that we do, we can always offer it for those that are not able to get those blessings in that way if at the time.
Absolutely. But, you have the nature of seeking the positive and the auspicious. As I said earlier, Sri Ramakrishna fully endorses even the tamasic devotee. But you have to be a devotee, you have to be pulling on God's garment. You have to be looking, you have to be asking your mother for the penny. You mustn't go steal the penny from somebody. You must ask your mother for the penny. These are these wonderful stories. So, yes, all of those things. Any final thoughts from your own wisdom or experience, or any concern or question that remains from anyone? All right. Just to remind you, this coming Saturday, Aditya Chaturvedi will do the Durga Puja from his own home shrine. That will be streamed. The link will be available to you from our communications. On Sunday, October 2nd, there will be a talk by Pravrajika Vidyaprana on Advaita Vedanta. The next month is a month for the study of Jnana Yoga. You will hear a beautiful talk by Vidyaprana, a nun in Hollywood. You've heard from her before if you've been listening for some time here. She's magnificent. I've known her for decades. She's just a magnificent thinker and wonderful speaker and organizer of information. So that's Sunday, October 2nd at 11 a.m. Then on October the 8th, Saturday, October 8th, Aditya will do the Durga Puja from our chapel here for the benefit of the chapel and for the benefit of this place. And very kindly, he's going to do it again for us here. And then on Sunday, October the 9th, there will be a talk. You've heard me give it before. It's a little different each time it's given, but it is the talk is the significance of mother worship according to Swami Swahananda. And it's a very persuasive speech about why we should worship the mother and participate in such things as chanting Jai Shri Durga and so on. That's what's coming up the next couple of weekends. And of course, the Monday class is canceled. We're seeking input from you all about what you might want to do, if anything, on Monday nights. You might just like Monday nights to be quiet and not have any need to do anything involved with this place on a Monday night. But whatever it is that you would like, whether you would like to study something, some particular study and discuss some text, write an email to me and suggest that. Or if you'd like Monday night to just be a quiet night, write and tell me that too. Input is being sought. And then, of course, the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday classes are going on. Anything else before we close out? Well, so good to see all of you. I had a lovely conversation with Balakrishna earlier today, and Balakrishna is healthy and well. He's a biological phenomenon, that man. I just wanted you to know that, those of you who love Balakrishna. It was so sweet to have a conversation. I had a couple of dreams last night that made me want to talk with him, so I did. So, anything else from anyone? All right, dears. Jai Shri Durga, Jai Shri Durga, Jai Shri Durga. Om Asato Ma Satkamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityor Ma Amrutangamaya, Abir Abir Moiti. This very potent ancient prayer. O dearly beloved, lead us from the unreal to the real, Lead us from this realm of endless noise and relentless confusion to thine abode of silence, serenity, clarity, and peace. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from darkness and ignorance to the brilliance of thy wisdom and love. Lead us from death to immortality. Light us through and through. Light us through and through with thy everlasting, shining presence. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace and beneficence be unto us and to all beloved beings everywhere. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Durga, Durga, Durga. May we be safe. May we be healthy. May we be cheerful. May we have peace of mind. May we be always in the loving and protective embrace of the Divine Being as our Mother and Father. So until tomorrow night, when we take up Swami Ranganathananda's book Divine Grace and continue our reading and discussion, Swayam Didi is our reader for that. And, so we'll go ahead with that tomorrow evening.
Good night.
Final thought from anyone? All right. Good night, good night, good night, dear ones. And away we go.